There's only 630 days until the 2020 election. So if you fire up your slow cooker now, you'll have the most tender election night brisket ever. But that doesn't leave a lot of time for Democrats to narrow down their field of contenders, which just keeps growing and growing. So let's check in on the latest developments in our ongoing segment, World War D. Let's kick it off with Kamala Harris. She went on the Breakfast Club this morning and said that if she becomes president, you're not going to have to hide your weed in the vegetable crisper anymore.
First of all, let me just make the statement very clear. I believe we need to legalize marijuana.
Have you ever smoked?
I have.
Okay. Like
I inhaled. I did inhale.
Okay.
It was a long time ago. But yes.
I don't know why anyone is acting like Kamala Harris smoking weed is a big deal. Yeah, it used to be a scandalous thing for a politician to admit, but now it's like, yeah, who cares? Weed is getting so normalized in America now that instead of drinking beers at O'Malley's pub in the future, it's going to be candidates who are going to stop by Leafy Larry's Dankateria in Santa Monica to vape. That's what it's going to be. So Kamala didn't make much news, but there was another Democrat who did.
The field of presidential hopefuls is a little more crowded tonight. Minnesota's Democratic Senator Amy Klobuchar announcing her bid during a snowstorm in Minneapolis.
I stand before you as the granddaughter of an iron ore miner, as the first woman elected to the United States Senate from the state of Minnesota, to announce my candidacy for President of the United States.
Yay! Can we go home now? We can't feel our legs. Announcing your campaign in a snowstorm. From now on, everyone's gonna have to top that. That's the bar now. Biden has to announce from inside a tornado. And then Bernie will be like, oh yeah, well, I'm currently being struck by lightning, and it has no effect on my hair. Now, some people said that Klobuchar holding a rally in the snow showed grit and determination. But to President Trump, it was evidence of something else.
The president clearly paying attention to his potential challenger, jabbing at Klobuchar's position on climate change.
He tweeted this, saying that Amy Klobuchar announced that she is running for president, talking proudly of fighting global warming while standing in a virtual blizzard of snow, ice, and freezing temperatures. Bad timing. By the end of her speech, she looked like a snowman woman.
Snowman Woman? This is such a weird tweet. Because on the one hand, he's denying decades of scientific research on climate change again. But on the other hand, he's being kind of woke, you know? Like snowman or woman. It's time we acknowledge that women can also be snow people. In fact, some snow women were born snowmen, folks. A lot of people don't know that. God doesn't always put the carrot in the right place, folks. Not always. We've got to be inclusive. But here's the thing about Amy Klobuchar. Normally, this kind of campaign rollout would be considered a success. But unfortunately, her announcement was overshadowed by some other news.
All this comes amid a report that Klobuchar had such a bad reputation over treatment of staff that a number of potential staffers withdrew from consideration to manage her campaign.
Sources tell the HuffPost senior senator is, quote, habitually demeaning and prone to bursts of cruelty that make it difficult to work in her office for long.
Her anger left staffers in tears. She threw papers and sometimes even hurled objects. And one aide was accidentally hit with a flying binder.
Wow. Throwing binders at her employees? They need to legalize weed in her office. So, fresh after her announcement, the first obstacle to Senator Klobuchar's presidential run has already presented itself. How does she respond to the accusations? Well, not in the way you'd think.
I am tough. I push people, that is true. But my point is that I have high expectations for myself. I have high expectations for the people that work for me, and I have high expectations for this country.
Whoa, 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 whoa. She has high expectations for her stuff and for this country? Sounds like if she becomes president, she's gonna treat everyone in America like her stuff. She's gonna be calling random Americans at 6 in the morning. Hey, Brad, why aren't you at work yet? Oh, what? What? I'm sorry, Madam President. Oh, you're gonna be sorry. Then a binder just flies through the window. Ah! And she's like, I do this because I'm tough on them. That sounded like what my mom would say before she'd whip my ass. I'm doing this for your own good. I have high expectations for you. But look, are these reports about Klobuchar's temper gonna be a problem for her? They could be. Because if there's one thing we know, it's that the only people who make it to the White House are the ones with a calm, even temperament.